Hello there. Today I'm taking another look at sand-coated leather armor. This panel has been made from 2 scraps of buffalo skin. I glued a half a dozen layers of sand to either side over the course of several days, and I've done the same on the inside. I used hide glue to attach the sand, as previous tests showed that pine tar was too soft. One issue I've found when testing hide glue previously is that it's very brittle. When struck, it will shatter and flake off. I've done 2 things to try and prevent this. The first is I glued the sand on in many thin layers rather than a few thick layers, and the second I've glued it to the flesh side of the leather. I've also scraped it so that the fibers will stand up and the glue will have something more to bind to. That's enough preamble, onto the test. The antler-tipped arrow bounced off harmlessly, dealing almost no damage to the armor. The steel-tipped arrow penetrated the armor, but only by a 1/16 of an inch. Not even enough to get through your skin, probably. The steel arrow struck near the edge where the sand is very thin. It penetrated almost an inch and broke off. The antler arrow struck in exactly the same place as the first one. It failed to penetrate and broke off just below the head. The arrow struck dead center, bounced off harmlessly. The arrow stuck in the armor without penetrating, and broke off just below the head. Now let's try a hunting knife. The knife failed to penetrate, doing little to no damage. And again, the armor stopped it dead. This was a 2-handed strike with my entire weight behind it. It penetrated less than an inch. Now let's see how it does against the spear. It stopped it. Cool. This time the spear made it through about 1/4 of an inch. That is still really good. For this blow I put my entire weight behind it. It made it through about 2 inches. This time it struck in the same place as previously and penetrated about 2 inches. Here it struck near the edge where the sand is thin and penetrated about an inch. And again, the armor stops it. Cool. Let's go over the results. This configuration works much better than the previous. It stopped the arrows really well, and even the bloody spear had a hard time getting through it. Gluing to the flesh side of the leather worked well to prevent it from chipping off, and the layer on the inside made it much stronger. The layer on the back of the armor, however, accomplished nothing. Any blows that went through were able to prise off the sand in great chunks. If I were to make a suit of this, I wouldn't bother gluing sand to the back side of the leather. Be more comfortable that way anyway. All in all, I'd call that a success. It broke 3 of my arrows and stopped the spear. One last thing I want to do, I want to see if a blow from a tomahawk can shatter it. It caused some of the sand around the blow to crack, but very little of it came off, and the armor would still be protective. Well, I'm very pleased with that. It did very well. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.